Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk with Jill Zimmerman, the president of the Kansas Agriculture Rural Leadership Program. We know it as CARL, and the latest class has begun their 2-year leadership adventure. We'll also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, and Kansas Grain Sorghum, plus the weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com. In agricultural news, America's wheat growers have a long history of valuing export market development by supporting the successful public-private partnership with USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service. That's why U.S. Wheat Associates and the National Association of Wheat Growers are applauding the introduction of the Cultivating Revitalization by Expanding American Agricultural Trade and Exports. That's the CREATE Act of 2022 in the U.S. Senate. The legislation would double the funding for the Market Access Program and Foreign Market Development Program, both of which are administered by FAS. MAP funding hasn't increased from $200 million since 2006. FMD funding hasn't changed from $34.5 million in 2002. U.S. Wheat also uses the MAP and FMD funding to enable greater use of U.S. wheat in food aid programs, which have taken on more significance due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine that disrupted the global wheat trade. Well, the Biden administration this week announced 2 new Department of Agriculture efforts to support fair and competitive meat and poultry markets. The effort includes publishing the proposed inclusive competition and market integrity rules under the Packers and Stockyards Act to protect farmers and ranchers from abuse, and a new $15 million agriculture competition challenge to ramp up collaboration with the state attorneys general on enforcement of competition laws, such as those against price fixing. The 2 efforts come from the White House Competition Council, which held a meeting earlier this week. And also earlier in the year, USDA and the Department of Justice announced their commitment to work closely together to effectively enforce federal competition laws, including launching the farmerfairness.gov complaint portal for reporting suspected violations of federal competition law. And an equity panel investigating discrimination within an agency wants USDA to consider eliminating the county committee system that's played a big role in managing Farm Service Agency's agricultural programs. More in a moment.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn, with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And joining us now is Jill Zimmerman. She's the president of the Kansas Agriculture and Rural Leadership Program. We know it as Carl. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Ken. How are you today?
Doing quite well. It is a new season, if you will. The next class for Carl has been announced, and you're already up and rolling.
Yeah, we're excited. We officially announced the class June 4th earlier this summer, and they've already started their Genesis seminar, which happened in August, and they'll travel to Garden City later in November.
All right, so an opportunity to see lots of different places around the state and also nationally and internationally. We can talk about that a little bit later, but maybe talk about this class and other classes, say over the last couple of cycles. They've been met with a lot of challenges due to COVID, and I guess I would say, Jill, this is one that they've really had to put those leadership skills to the test.
Yeah, we're really excited, as we are with the announcement of each new class, Ken. It just offers 30 new folks that we get to add to the network. The network is now over 450 strong of associates and fellows of the program. And so we're launching a new mentoring program and some things like that. So we continue to look to find ways to enhance the connectivity of the network that we have and the network that we have throughout the state of Kansas with fellows and friends of the program. But we're super excited, as always, to announce a new class. And, COVID was a challenge for many of us. We navigated that challenge, but we're ready and able to get started with the next class.
Well, it's always unique. Every class has its uniquenesses, and those that come in maybe with some skills, but really when they all learn, they're able to take those back to their home communities and maybe in other ways as well. So it's always kind of interesting when you get a chance to meet them, say one of the early meetings, and then at the end of graduation, how much they have grown from a leadership standpoint and just maybe a appreciation of Kansas.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the greatest benefits of the program, Ken, is having a better appreciation of the state of Kansas, gaining a lifelong network of connections and relationships that will benefit, for many, like you and I, benefits us for decades to come. I think, Carl, we really help identify, prepare, and connect leaders who then can take this experience and go back home to their communities to positively impact ag in the spaces that they live and work. So at the end of the day, that's our hope of what we will accomplish.
We're talking with Jill Zimmerman, who is the president of the Kansas Agricultural Leadership Program. It's Carl here in Kansas. Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk more in just a moment. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
And our guest is Jill Zimmerman, who is the president of the Kansas Agricultural Leadership Program. And Jill, the next class has started their 2-year adventure, and it's one of the premier leadership development classes, especially when it comes to those agriculture and rural leaders. Of course, a lot of folks are doing their own thing, but this is unique because of all the things that your team has enhanced. I mean, it's when I was in it some 20 some years ago, the opportunities now are even greater. But Jill, with that, it takes a lot of money to get those programs, to put on those, and it's an investment. And I know you have many different ways to invest, and many of those that have gone through the program have found unique ways to not only pay their tuition, but also enhance the future of Carl.
Absolutely, Ken. And, we are a 501c3. We're a nonprofit. We don't receive any money from the Kansas State University or the state of Kansas. And so our funding sources are grants, tuition dollars, and then philanthropic gifts to support the needs of the program. We work really hard to earn the respect and the confidence of all donors and people that have participated in the program. And, our team and the board of directors, we work hard every day to deliver and enhance the experience from class to class, because we have to constantly grow and change and be able to scale and be adaptive. And all of those efforts do, like you said, take philanthropic dollars, but we feel really confident in the program. We feel confident. We know that positive growth is not easy, and it can't be done alone, but we're confident in our abilities, especially when we work together, that anything is possible in the state of Kansas. And I would say that today the needs of Kansans to have intelligent conversations about how we can continue to inspire, connect, and change is even more so important than ever before. So we're proud of that. We appreciate the support that we get from folks and the confidence that they have placed in us to deliver a program. And, Ken, I might say here that it's especially near and dear for me. Dr. Flinchball was a mentor for me for many, many, many years. And the program exists today because of his vision for what he had for leadership, for what he had for the state of Kansas. And so to deliver on his vision and to make sure that we can pave the way forward for the next generation is super important to me.
Well, Jill, now if folks want to learn more about the Carl program, how's the best way to do that?
So they can reach us by email at Carl, Karl, at ksu.edu, or on the World Wide Web at carlprogram.com, all one word, not case sensitive.
All right, Jill. Well, thanks a lot for the update, and we look forward to talking with you again soon.
All right. Sounds good. We appreciate your friendship, Ken.
Thanks. Jill Zimmerman, the president of the Kansas Agricultural Leadership, the Carl program, has joined us. We'll have more coming up in just a moment.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
It's Commodity Commission's election time again in Kansas. soybean producers in central Kansas seeking to influence how the checkoff returns value to their operations are invited to campaign for a seat on the Kansas Soybean Commission. Districts 4, 5, and 6, making up the central third column of the state, are up for election in the 2023 cycle. Interested individuals in these districts have until November 30th, 2022 to meet the filing deadline. Candidates must gather 20 signatures from farming peers with no more than 5 signatures from any one county to qualify. Signatures may be submitted online, on paper, or both. Per Kansas Department of Agriculture guidelines, candidates 18 and older must have been actively engaged in growing soybeans within the preceding 5 years to be eligible and may only represent the district of their primary residence. The Commission meets in person 3 times annually with additional virtual meetings and travel commitments throughout the year. Time is volunteered, but travel expenses are reimbursable per KSC policy. The primary responsibility of being a commissioner is attending the December meeting where funding proposals are presented and checkoff investments are decided. Questions about commissioner expectations may be directed to the Kansas Soybean Office. If this has piqued your interest, further details about the filing process are available at www.kansassoybeans.org/forms.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
Kansas has a strong agriculture tradition that predates its statehood, and agriculture continues to be a key economic driver in the present as well, as the agriculture industry provides a total economic contribution of over $76 billion to the Kansas economy. This fall, the Kansas Department of Agriculture has updated our website to provide current statistics to show how the agriculture, food, and food processing sectors contribute to the employment and economic impact across the state. We have provided an interactive map of the state, which can be used to find the agricultural economic facts for each of the 105 counties in Kansas. The statistics include farm numbers, leading agricultural sectors by output and by employment, and value-added data for each county. KDA utilizes facts from the Ag Census surveys conducted by the USDA National Agricultural Statistics Service, or NASS. The economic impact data is sourced from the most recent in-plan data available, adjusted for 2022. The 73 sectors of agriculture and agriculture-related industries combine to provide a total direct output of over $53 billion, and when indirect and induced effects are considered, that's a total economic contribution of over $76 billion, supporting more than 256,000 jobs statewide. You can find this new data on our website at agriculture.ks.gov/ksag. The statewide information is on the main page, or you can look for the state map in the middle of the page and click on any county to go to that county's economic contribution page. KDA is committed to providing an environment that enhances and encourages economic growth of the agriculture industry and, in turn, of the Kansas economy.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
I'm Debbie Lyons-Blythe, and I'm a cattle rancher in the Flint Hills of Kansas. I'm also the incoming chairman of the U.S. Roundtable for Sustainable Beef. And you know, when we talk about sustainability, I think farmers and ranchers think first about the environmental aspect of sustainability. But we found through research that consumers often think of animal welfare. Those are both really important parts of sustainability in America. Animal welfare starts the day that calf is born. And so we talk about animal welfare on the ranch. We take good care of the animals. We make sure all of their nutritional and health needs are met, but we also handle them in such a way that is called low stress handling, that they are comfortable with us and we can trust that the cattle are not afraid of us and can move around comfortably. We can do what we need to with those animals. But I'm also going to tell you that animal welfare is very important at the feed yard level. You know, after I've taken care of that calf for most of its life, it really matters to me that they're taken care of appropriately for the rest of their life. And so when they go to the feed yard for a few months, they do have special people that are trained to take very good care of them. They have not only a nutritionist, they have their own doctors, and they have cowboys that are well trained in managing cattle and identifying if they have problems. So it's very important to me that we manage those cattle and take care of them appropriately throughout their life cycle. So beef sustainability is multifaceted. It's not only environmental and animal welfare, but it also means taking care of the communities that we live in and the people that we work with, and being able to make money and be profitable. And all of those things together make American beef the most sustainable in the world.
To learn more about sustainability on the farm, visit KansasLivingMagazine.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals recently overturned the Northern District of California's nationwide vacatur of the Trump administration's Endangered Species Act rules. The appeals court held that the district court had erred in vacating the 2019 rule without ruling on the legal validity. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association had intervened to defend the Trump-era ESA rule, which repealed the blanket 4D rule and prohibited the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service from automatically extending the protections against take that applied to endangered species to cover threatened species as well. Another Trump-era rule directed the Fish and Wildlife Service to consider the possible economic impact a listing might have on rural communities before making a decision. Additionally, Section 7 of ESA requires federal agencies to consult with the Fish and Wildlife Service or the National Marine Fisheries Service before engaging in any action that potentially could affect a listed species. To improve the efficiency of that process, the Trump administration had established a deadline for informal consultations, providing greater certainty to regulators, landowners, and communities. When the district court vacated the rules earlier this year, these revisions were invalidated and no longer enforced. However, this reversal by the Court of Appeals now fully reinstates the 2019 rules. NCBA will remain engaged and advocate for a regulatory approach that is science-based, rooted in current conditions, and cognizant of the economic impact these decisions have on rural communities.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Good morning, I'm Darren Van Vatcher with Pinion Risk Management. The market's still digesting last week's Fed rate increase. Crude and the stock market were on the defensive to start the week, but slowed their slide around Wednesday. Livestock have felt the most impact in the ag space as last week's cattle on feed report lacked any bullish firepower of its own. Ag exports are struggling and the U.S. dollar continues to add more pressure, surging to multi-decade highs. All things considered, though, grains have held together. Corn and wheat have found support with geopolitical news centering around Black Sea export uncertainty. Beans have retreated to their pre-September WASI report levels near $14. Corn basis remains on the move. Basis is seasonally weakened in the eastern belt as harvest ramped up and remains strong in the west where supplies are tight. Bean basis remains flatter compared to corn as we await initial yields from the later planted crop. We will have to wait and see how the trade digests the latest quarterly stocks report. We have some pretty wide ranges for corn and wheat going in and a fairly tight range on the beans. There's a ton of information out there muddying our decision-making process right now. Sometimes it's best to quiet the noise and assess what works best for your operation. If you'd like to discuss some ideas, give us a call at 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Be safe and have a great week.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us at KansasAgReport.net or our social media channels. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.